Right, very nearly about sailing, July 2024, and as you might have noticed, I'm not on a sailing boat, but I have actually completed a project this month, which is fairly, I think I mentioned this very briefly last time. I bought myself a little Honda 250. It just came up on Marketplace at about the same time that I had a tax rebate. And it needed a fair bit of fettling. It was running, but not very well. And so I've done a fair bit to it, but it's quite sort of easy stuff, carburetors and so on. I'll show a few clips of me doing bits and pieces to it. Oh, and by the way, there's probably some people who don't know who I am and so on, because you might have seen a picture of a motorbike and you're more interested in the motorbike than anything else. So my name is Paul. I've been kind of doing up my 28-foot Mirage 28 sailing boat forever, partly due to the fact I've got a health problem which causes real problems with energy levels and so on, and actually climbing up the ladder to go and do things is problematic on the boat. But I needed and wanted a project to kind of start and finish, and this was an ideal one because I've done a lot of work on bikes beforehand. I'm really pleased at the way that this bike is going, actually. So I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's put in a clip of the bike, because you might let's do what they call a walk around. We'll just do a walk around of the bike, show you what it is, and then I'll get back to you in a minute. Right, here we are. So yeah, let's have a little bit of a walk around. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this video into two, because there's quite a lot of fettling and fixing, and the carburetors were literally all over the place. So I want to cover that, and I'll do that. I'll put out a video fairly quickly. So what I'm going to do, let's cut away right now, and let's have a look at a sort of before, although I had done a little bit of work to it, and then we'll have a look at the after. There's still bits of work I want to do to the bike, but there's nothing more cosmetic that I need to do, and I'll talk you through some of the other bits and pieces that I'm going to do mechanically, and that as I say, I will cover in the next video, which I'll make sure is following pretty soon. Right, so I said there'd be some motorcycling stuff on this one, and this is the motorcycle. It's a 1980 Honda CB250N Superdream. It's in really reasonable nick. I've already done a few bits and pieces to it. It already had a brand newish Avon Road Rider Mark II tyre, which is ideal for these sort of 40-year-old classic bikes. The rear tyre was pretty awful when it arrived, as I knew. The person who I bought it from knew that. So I've had a new Roadrunner put on that. I've also put in it's got drum brakes. I've also put in some new drum brakes. This arm there that you can't quite see, okay, if I do that, that should be, as we look at it here, that should be sort of facing straight down, and it's not. But I can adjust that as the brakes go in. I've had to readjust where the brake lights come in. I had to get a new rear reflector. I've ordered a new number plate because that always looks a little bit tatty. The chain I think is good, but I got a new chain supplied with it. What else have I done? I've given it a quick sort of clean and polish. The tank has been repainted, but not too bad, and I was thinking of stripping it down and completely repainting it. But actually what I might do, because previous chap, what he did is he taped, and this is quite clever, he taped off everything except for the decal and then painted around that. So I think I'll put a new decal on, repaint it, and then do a clear varnish. Unfortunately I've waxed it, so I've got to get the wax off. Side panels are great. The side panel here is missing. I've got it. Two reasons. One, I'm about to recover the seat. Two reasons. I'm about to recover the seat. Seat is beyond repair, so that's my job for today. The shocks look pretty. Sorry, two reasons. The other thing is there's quite a bit of wasted space here behind the seat. There's a thing that comes down, and what I'm thinking of doing is kind of building a box that fits in exactly there, and I can do things like keep spare bulbs in it, spare spark plugs. It's actually quite a big area. It's sort of, you know, the size of my hand wide, and yeah, that I don't think that should be too difficult to do, and otherwise it's just wasted area. It starts okay. Let me just start it up just so you can kind of hear it. I think it does need some carb work doing to it, because, again, two reasons. Firstly, it hasn't got a choke, but luckily it's quite warm today, so it will start. Secondly, it's a bit slow on the pickup from sort of zero, and sometimes it does that thing where it stalls, and that could be I think, is it the pilot jet that might be blocked? And thirdly, I don't think this is as much a problem in the UK as it is in America, but they used to put one size smaller jets in them to get around the emission laws. It was a very cheap and cheerful way of doing it, but it meant the bike ran rubbish, so I'll check what size jet it's got in it. So that all sounds to me like a dirty carb. We've got a nice day of sun today, so I'm going to get on with the seats. I have the seat cover equipment here, new seat cover, although I think I've accidentally got the 400 one, because I think the 200 one had the sort of the more herringbone type style, but it doesn't matter, it's fine. New seat cover, the new spiky bits put in there. I'm going to put some anyway, well, let's just do it and then you can see what I'm doing. Right, so obviously from a cosmetic standpoint, I've put the new decals on either side. I've had a go at the tank. I kind of sanded it down with wet and dry up to about 2000, cut it and then put wax on it, and it's polished up very nicely, so I'm happy with that. Tiny little details, like I've put in a new this little rubber thing, that's to stop that burning. I've rebuilt the front brake. That was almost not working. The caliper was really sticking. As I mentioned last time, I've done the seat. Very happy with the way that this worked out. Tricky job, but actually worked out better than I thought it would. Got the new number plate and bits and pieces on. The thing is, this is counted in the UK, anything over 40 years is counted as a vintage or historical vehicle. And two things: first of all, you don't pay road tax, and secondly, you don't have to go in for an MOT, the Ministry of Department test, but it still has to be roadworthy. So I had to go through everything, and because I've done a lot of this stuff before and got bikes through MOTs and so on, I knew what to do. But it's, you know, I'm very happy with the way the brakes are working. The engine, we'll start it up in a minute and I'll show you how it starts up now compared with what it did. Did loads of work on the carburetors. It's got this is an aftermarket pipe. It's got a single 2-into-1. It's not particularly loud, as you would have heard. I mean, it's pretty bad on the helmet mic. You can't really hear it. It is a, what is it? It's a B&M, something like. I'll look that up, see if I can see what that is. I think it looks nice. It's okay, because the other pipes, they just used to rot. Bits of damage to it. This pipe here, this has obviously been bent at some stage. Cosmetically, do I need to do anything more to it? I had to put a new petrol tap in, which I won't, or petcock I think you call it in the States. I won't cover that, but that didn't actually have a filter of any sort inside it. I've adjusted all the tappets. I had a go at adjusting the, it needs a new chain. Well, I've got a new chain for it. I adjusted that. at the point when I put the back wheel back in for the new Road Rider Avon. These are fantastic tyres, absolutely love them. So yeah, I adjusted the tappets, adjusted the cam chain, although I think it's at the end of its adjustment, and I also, on the other side, and there are a few lights and things, some of the lights weren't working. On the other side, you adjust the balance chain through here. You undo that, there's a nut in there, you undo it, you tighten it up and a little cam moves. But once you get past a certain amount of movement, you have to take this cover off, and there's oil in there because that's where the clutch is. And then you have to kind of twist it around the cogs. I haven't done that yet, I've just got the gasket and stuff for it, so I will do that for next time. Because one of the comments that I think I make is that I'm not going to go over 6,000 revs for the time being, because I don't want to wreck the engine. But if I can make sure the cam chain and that chain are okay, then I can perhaps take it up a little bit further and perhaps do a bit more of a performance test next week. Anyway, let me put the camera back on the... I think it's a nice looking bike. It's obviously very dated, it's not perfect, but you know what, I'm not looking for a sort of concours model bike. I think that's good enough for me, and it's such good fun to drive. Yeah, let's put it back on the tripod and show you how it starts up now after having done all the carb work. I didn't do this before, but I understand that what people do when they're selling things is they put their hand on the exhaust so that you know that it's not hot, and they've either got fiberglass hands or they really are genuine. So this actually I could do with cleaning this up a little bit. So this is from Cold, and I will have shown you the earlier clip about how it started up. So I've now got the choke. Put the choke on about halfway, start it up, then push the choke in and see if you can see the difference or hear the difference. So that's idling a little bit slow at the moment, just over 1,000. Push the choke right in. It should be about 1,300. It's quite a fast tick over bike, but obviously it's not warmed up yet. And I think you can tell it's revving up nice and it's dropping down relatively quickly. This is actually, that's about right. So anyway, what we're going to do now is get back on the road. I'll cut out the bit obviously you've seen, which is me introducing the video, and we'll go from the beginning. We'll do a few clips. My camera that I've got that I mounted on my helmet doesn't have image stabilisation, so I've tried to do some using the software, and it didn't work particularly. Sorry, you probably can't hear me. And it didn't work particularly brilliantly, so I do need to get an action camera, new action camera. I don't know if I'll get that in time for the next video, but yeah, I am very, very, very happy with this. 650 quid, spent £100 on a new tyre, a few other bits and pieces, a few more bits and pieces to do. It's all easy work. From my energy and health level points of view, which have been rubbish for the last month, and some bizarre things happening, been great, because a lot of it I can sit on the floor and do it. It's not like climbing up the ladder on the boat and not being able to do anything else. Anyway, let's get back to me, putting my gloves on and about to go out for a ride, pretending I'm going to buy some boots, but I'm actually after a lovely burger at the Canterbury motorcycle dealership, which is Robinson's Foundry. Great motorcycles and really nice bikes there. Right. Let's see if we can make this work then. I've got all the cameras switched on, I think. I know where I'm going, I think. Therefore I am going. And it's a nice sunny day. So, here we go, off for a nice sunny day ride. Beautiful day actually, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. So here we go, off to see if I can, I need to get a pair of boots. So it's really an excuse, to be quite honest, because the local motorcycle shop, well, the one in Canterbury anyway, sells burgers. So I have already done a test ride, by the way, and I put the GPS on, and the speedo and the GPS agreed uncannily, which I think is quite unusual, because I always think that motorcycle speedos are not particularly good. So the thing is, there's a bit of history with this particular type of bike. My very first job after leaving university was working for a Honda dealership, and it was about the time, wow, bumpy roads here, it was about the time that the Honda launched, I think it was, oh blimey, a good test of the suspension. It was the time that Honda launched the new Superdream series, the 250 and the 400, because at the time, as a learner, you were allowed to ride a 250 motorcycle, and I could never afford one. I actually had a little Yamaha 125 that I learnt on straight on my 17th birthday, and I desperately wanted to ride bigger, faster bikes. So I got a job with a Honda dealership in Oxford. As I say, about the time the 250 and the 400 Superdream were launched. Looked slightly different to this one, more rounded tanks. This was actually launched in about 1980. And the thing is, I never rode one, because the reason I wanted to work there is simply so I could ride the fast bikes. And the Honda 750F2, which I believed was the fastest production motorcycle in the world at the time, was launched, and we had one, and I was allowed to ride it. I'll show you a picture of it. This one I'm showing the picture of, I think it's up for sale. It's being auctioned by Bonners, about £5,000–6,000. If I had the money, I'd get it. It was a lovely, lovely bike. And so given the choice of riding that or the newly launched Honda 250, I obviously chose the 750F2. Absolutely adored it. Loved it like mad. And I won't say what sort of speeds I went up to, but I had an indicated 100 and, oh no, sorry, I nearly said it. It rhymes with a squandred-and-20, put it that way, around the Oxford Ring Road. Lovely, lovely bike. A bit later on, because obviously what I wanted at that stage, as a sort of callow youth, was something like a Suzuki Hustler or the Kawasaki Triple. And I did actually get one of those later in sort of middle age, just to see what they were like. The Suzuki I absolutely loved. Again, I did that one up, and it was a lovely, lovely motorcycle. The Kawasaki was a massive disappointment. I wanted the white one. I think I had a blue one. I can't actually remember what colour it was. And it was rubbish. Really, really rubbish. I mean, it was quite old. But I've always had a soft spot for 250s. Anyway, I'm just going to video the rest of this, do a few talky bits, so I might put some clips in, and take it from there. Grove Ferry, let's go down to Grove Ferry. This is a nice place. I'm thinking of taking when I get an electric motor for the tender, because I actually sold my 4-stroke motor. I'll probably take it down to Grove Ferry, because there is a launching place. You can go along the River Stour. Gosh, the road surfaces are... I haven't been down this road for ages. Road surfaces are absolutely awful. The handling on this bike is really lovely, and those new Road Rider tyres I've got really do suit it. The suspension, not so happy with. I think I will rebuild the suspension, probably get some new rear forks. Oh, it hasn't got an engine. That's a weird sort of motorcycle, isn't it? But then again, it was never renowned for being a particular... I mean, the rear suspension apparently on these used to used to wear out very quickly anyway. And I think I said, did I, that I'm actually not taking it over about 6,000 revs at the moment. Where do I want to go? Right. Grove Ferry, yes. I'm not taking it over 6,000 revs until I've kind of completely rebuilt it, or rebuilt the engine, because I just don't want to strain it. So I'd love to do a sort of a 0 to 60, which should be about 9 seconds. It's not a fast motorcycle, but it's just not worth it. It's not worth straining it at the moment. This is beautiful. A bit of sort of marshland, very close to the River Stour, and there's all sorts of little, I don't know what they're called. They're not brooks. What are they called? I don't know. Sort of irrigation type channels. So if I flew off the road here to the right, I'd literally be in deep water. So I'll try not to do that, shall I? No parking. I thought, yeah, there's a house with a sort of a boat thing on it. I don't know if you could see that, probably couldn't. Over its porch, over the entrance, there's an upside down boat which they've used as a bit of a shelter. Now we've reached Grove Ferry. I'm going to take all the camera gear off, have a quick look, see if it's worked. This is a lovely spot. As I say, this is where I am. Canoe Wild. Yeah, I think you can actually, I think you can launch in there. There's a very nice pub along here. And this is the car park. So I'm not really going to park up, I'm just going to disassemble the camera gear, see if it's worked. But that's enough footage there. I might put a bit of B-roll in places as well. B-roll, yeah, I only found out what that means the other day. It basically means it's a bacon roll, which is what I'm going to get when I get to the... I'm going to get a bacon roll or a burger, I think. When I get to the motorcycle shop, I need some boots, so I'm going to just using this as an excuse to go and get some boots. Love this helmet, by the way. It's really, really comfortable. Jacket, unfortunately, I've had to get one that's kind of all seasons, which means that on a day like this, it is hot. So anyway, let's switch everything off and go from there. So that was it for this particular video. I'm going to put the next one out. I videoed a lot of the stuff in terms of doing the seat, doing the tappets, etc. And I will put that out very shortly with the extra things about trying to get the balance chain, etc. sorted. Because I could do with a bit of gap. I need to get some health things sorted out. So you won't have to wait more than a couple of weeks or so for the next video and part 2. See you then.